Thank you. Remain seated. It's just great to be here. This is my first time at the Wallace Theater, and I'm just so thrilled to be here. They treat me like a king. And did y'all see the ballet guy? I pulled up front, and he came out of nowhere. He's like, "Give me your keys," you know. That's service right there, man. I'll tell you what. And he had a gun too for security. I think that's because there's some weirdos out there. I'm gonna have a chicken biscuit, orange juice, and a cup of coffee. She leaned into the microphone. This really happened. Leaned into the microphone to send the order back to the kitchen. This is what she said. Chicken biscuit, orange juice, senior coffee. Just shoot me in the face. You know, just stab me in the face with a nice pick. I would rather pay $35 for a cup of coffee than to have the cute girl give me the senior discount. Don't tell people you're giving them a senior discount if they can walk in upright on their hind legs on their own. If you're going to give it to them, just give it to them. You know how you make a senior happy? If they ask for the discount, call the cops. That's what you do. And then have them hauled off in handcuffs and yell at them on the way to the car. You young people come in here trying to get the discount, you think I'm blind? Make any money like that. That's a person that can go to jail and just smile the whole time. What are you in for? Tried to get the senior discount. I should have known better the way I look. Your taste changes too as you get older. I've noticed that. Things you used to like, you don't like anymore, vice versa. That's true. I was watching Beverly Hillbillies the other day, and I thought to myself, you know, that granny is kind of cute. The way she shuffles around in the kitchen like that with that long skirt, those flat heel boots, her hair all up in a bun. Thin little glasses. I smell the Bengay from here. She can invite me over for victuals. Just sit out on the porch for hours, you know, and just complain, talk about stuff. I used to not like that. I do now. They make Metamucil in strawberry. So you lost your mule? Huh? My dreams are lame now. I've gotten older. I used to dream about rock climbing and skydiving and things like that. You know what my dream is? I'm sitting in my recliner. I just ordered a pizza. And somebody's going to bring it to me where I don't have to get up. That's my dream now. That's what I dream about. I hope that happens one day. I took my wife with me on kind of an old person vacation. She's not an old person. She's much younger than me. I robbed the cradle, and that's true. And the reason I tell you that is because it's true, but also this might be filmed. But I was a religion major in college. I'm not making that up. I really was. I majored in religion. I got a Bachelor of Arts degree in religion. And I tell you, if you want a shortcut to the fast food industry, that's the degree for you. You know what I hate is when people say that they're not going to do something and then they do it. You know what I mean? And you've seen this, like when people say, "No, I wasn't rude, but I just said," and then they tell you what they said and it was rude. You heard that? Like, "I wasn't rude, but I just said your nose doesn't go with your face." Or when, I love this, we're like, I don't mean to butt in. Then they're butting in. Don't take this the wrong way. Yeah. Right? You know what I mean? You got to really buck up when they say, "Now, don't take this as an insult." You're about to get an insult. You've seen that. I'm like, don't take this as a punch in the face. Don't think about that as blood going down your chin. Think of that as something else. That has nothing to do with anything. That reminds me, I was in West Virginia. And this is nothing, I don't even want I'm telling you this, but I was in West Virginia, and I was in the middle of nowhere,
those roads just wind around. There's nothing there. I needed a hotel because it was getting dark. And I finally found one. It was a hotel. It looked like it'd been there since the 50s. And they had a sign out front, and I'm not making this up. It said, color TV. They really did. That's the draw. It said color TV. I'm like, I got to see that. So I went in there, and the guy's like, what kind of room do you want? And I said, well, based on what I've seen, I'd like to have a room with 4 sides. If you have one available, just due to the weather. And I'd like to have one with the small roaches instead of the large ones, if I could. And put me on the side where gunfire is over by 11. That would be really nice. I want to be picky. But they did try to make the room look nice, though. I mean, it was like 1950s theme. It had the 50s pictures and the original bedspread, original carpet, had the original towels that they had. And I think the soap had been in there since the 50s. And you know what? My room had a fly swat with the name of the hotel embossed on the handle. That's nice. Bill's Motor Lodge. That's how you know you're in a nice hotel, because it's embossed on the handle. That's to kill things that are flying around in your room. That's what that's for. And it was placed strategically on the table right next to the ashtray. So it was sort of semi-luxury, bring your own mint. It was like a Motel 3, really. Half the price of Motel 6, but they don't leave a light on. So that's what you got to know about that place. Are y'all sick of the virus? Are you sick of it? I'm sick to death of hearing about it. I'm sick of it on the news. I'm sick of it. And it's still going on. Like, I was in a restaurant the other day, and they have that plexiglass, divider to keep you from getting the virus. And the guy's behind the counter with the mask on, and he can't hear what I'm saying. I can't hear what he's saying, but everybody's got to be safe, and they got all these rules. And then he pulls the mask down and leans around the plexiglass and goes, "Did you want ketchup?" And then they hand you the change around the glass, I'm just like, either be crazy or don't, but pick. Don't be both at the same time. And everybody uses the little debit machine. They're like, okay, are you next? I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. I do like the social distance circles, though. I think that's a great idea. I was in the post office the other day, and I saw coronavirus coming at me, and I got in one of those social distance circles, and it went right past me. That was close. I almost died. But I think some people just like living in the toilet, really. They just like it. My life's not the toilet. My life's awesome. I was just kidding about that. But some people just like it because they're just floating around in the toilet. Their friends are in the toilet, too. They're like, how you doing? Is everything going terrible? It sure is. Great. That's the way we like it. They're just looking around all the stuff floating around. Is that a Babe Ruth? I think though, like if you got clothes and food and a house and a few people that like you, and you're watching TV, and somebody on the TV is telling you that your life's going to be horrible from here on out, you just need to turn the TV off, climb out of the toilet, and have a nice day.
Yes.
That's my kind of thing.
I know a lot of comedians talk about their relationships, and I'm not going to do that tonight, but I will tell you one thing about my wife. She doesn't think I'm very smart. And I don't know when that happened, because when we were dating, she thought I was a genius, and now, she just, I don't know when it happened. But I know she doesn't think I'm smart just because of the questions. There's some questions you don't ask people if you think they're smart. And I'll give you an idea what I'm talking about. So I go to the doctor. This was years ago. This was before Aunt Corona came to visit. And I had the flu. I mean, we knew it was the flu. So I go to the doctor and I come home and I'm telling her about this, and you know what she asked me right in the middle of that? She said, "Did you tell him you had the flu?" It's like, that's what I forgot, to tell him I had the flu. I wondered why he hooked me up with this colostomy bag. And I got my arm in a cast. That's going to be uncomfortable for about 6 months. I bring the groceries in, and I like to bring a lot of them in at one time, you know, when I come in there. And this, I am not making this up. This is what she said. "Put those on the counter." Where am I going to put them, you know? I'm glad she told me that. I was going straight for the fireplace. Is this where the ice cream goes? You know what I like to do? Lean around the corner and say, "I put the biscuit dough in the outlets." Is that right? Poured the milk on the couch. You don't tell me. But she's great, really. She really is. She just mothers me a little bit, you know. Sometimes wives do that. They just mother you, but it sounds like they think you're dumb. But I'll tell you something, that this is true for everybody. This is every culture, everybody. You don't really know who you're married to until you've been married for at least a week. Like, you could date somebody for 5 years. You don't know who they are, because everybody's got baggage. And nobody wants to let anybody know what the real baggage is, you know? Like, she says to him, "You know, I have some baggage," when they're dating. And he's like, "Baby, I don't care about that baggage. Let's see that baggage." She brings out a little change purse, you know, says, "Now look in there. See, when I was in junior high school, I was very shy, and I feel scarred." And he's like, "That's nothing. Look at this." He got a little fanny pack. He brings something out. "See, look at that. When I was in high school, I had a zit on the end of my nose, and I am scarred." And they get married. They go on a honeymoon. They come back, and she says, "You know, I have some other baggage." "Other baggage?" "Other baggage." And she goes and opens the window, and leans out the window and yells, "Bring it around, boys!" That's when you hear the beep, beep, beep. Going back. And they go out and open up the truck, and he's like, "Suitcases?" She says, "Baggage." "I'm psychotic. I hate your mother. I have a terrible memory. I used to be a man. My friend, he's invisible. I hate you. I'm psychotic. I have a terrible memory." And he's like, "Well, I'm gay." Why do you think I got a fanny pack? That's my time. Thank you very much.
I am scared of the mailman, I'll tell you that, because they look like the cops. I mean, it's a car, you know, it's got that thing on the top of it. It says U.S. mail, but at first glance it looks like a blue light. And it, you know, freaks me out. So I turn right and make a go for it, you know what I mean? Panicked, rolling the window down, throwing out fast food, can't remember if that's legal or not. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, it wouldn't be that bad to be pulled over by the mailman. I mean, what's he gonna say? You know how fast you were going? I don't know, do you? No, I'm the mailman. We'll keep up with that. Here's your mail. I'm wondering if the Ku Klux Klan made a profit, would they be in the black? I just asked a question. I saw a sign on a door that said, "Keep closed at all times." And I'm thinking to myself, why don't you make that a wall? I've lost my respect for movie stars, especially the superhero types, you know, like Harrison Ford. Because in the movies, they decipher the code, they find their way through the forest, they swim the river, they fight the dragon, they rescue the damsel in distress, and then they win the Academy Award, and they can't figure out how to get off the stage. Which way do I go? Is it this way, or There's always a bodyguard in lingerie that gets him by the elbow. This way, Mr. Fore. Don't forget, I'm a movie star. This is a question I have just for the guys. If I were to ask if your spouse got on your nerves, how many of you are smart enough not to raise your hand? Just by a show of hands. Oh, man. I think that if advertising were honest, nobody would buy anything. Our pain cream works a little bit, but not much. Our product has the same ingredient as the generic brand. We charge more for packaging. We can't find anybody that drinks our beer that looks good enough to be in our beer commercial. I wrote some programs for kids years ago that had themes, like drug prevention, character education, bully prevention, that kind of stuff. And I wrote some other things that I thought were great, but didn't sell. And I have the short list of them here. Don't smoke much marijuana. Don't steal from your friends. Locksmithing for fun and profit. Learn where to put prepositions at. Pull up your pants, you slob. Oh, that's middle school. Sorry. Behave your little brats. And my garden has 2 mums. You can't learn anything about romance from a rooster because a rooster just struts around like he's not interested. And then he attacks the chicken, and 2 seconds later, he's strutting around again, and he goes, "Blah," like that. Nobody knows what he's saying, but I think I know what he's saying. He's saying, "Get me a beer." I feel like if you were suicidal and scared of heights, you could not jump off a 100-foot bridge. But I wonder if you could jump off a 5-foot bridge 20 times. Probably die of frustration. I went into the dollar store to buy myself a second-place ribbon. And when I got in there, the first-place ribbons were the same price. So I got that. Here's something fun to say when you're at a friend's house and you come out of the bathroom. "Hey, I love that wicker toilet." Couldn't figure out how to flush it. And then I got mugged, same day. Think about it, Miami, Florida. It's an August day, walking down the sidewalk. Guy come up to talk to me. He was wearing one of these. Everything seemed normal. So I talked to him, and I remember I was on my way to the jewelry store, and I had an envelope with me. Now tonight, I don't know if you can see that, $5. That's all I've got here, $5. And I'm thinking to myself, why would anybody steal $5? I mean, I don't know why people would steal anything, but he stole my $5. I'll put that inside the little toboggan. And you've probably noticed this strand of pearls up here, very special. My grandfather gave these to my grandmother. She had them about 50 years, I think, and then she was on her deathbed, and she sold them to me. So, I wrote her a check. She had tried that before. Stole my sister, and this little, the pearls, and this little silk. Now, this is not worth any money, this little yellow silk. So why anybody would steal that, I don't know. But this is why I want to tell you about why I love being a magician. Because when that guy got home, he found out he didn't have anything. Because the money he stole out of the envelope, believe it or not, was right back inside the envelope. And the pearls, believe it or not, were right back on the holder. And even though that silk wasn't in my pocket, I thought to myself, wouldn't it be neat? Of course, you'd have to be a great magician to do that, but then again, that's my job.